Hello, welcome back. I hope you're having an awesome weekend. We're going to talk a bit about Occidental Petroleum as we had some news that Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is looking to buy 50% of Occidental Petroleum. And basically, Warren Buffett is getting a lot more into petroleum. It looks like a lot more in oil. And we want to see what is happening here and what's the reason behind that. Why is actually Warren Buffett now invested so much in oil? What's the reason behind this? Now, if we take a look at the news here, you will see that a U.S. energy regulator on Friday gave Berkshire Hathaway, the company controlled by billionaire Warren Buffett, permission to buy up to 50% of oil company Occidental Petroleum here. Now, the prices of oil have soared lately, and you may be wondering, aren't we looking for prices to go down in the upcoming winter? I mean, isn't that the supposed agenda that's going to be happening, like relieve people of energy costs? And the answer is no, that's not the agenda that we're actually getting out of the US right now. And when the US is not doing anything really to actually achieve that, then the whole world is probably going to follow at a similar pace. And the reason we are seeing something of that sort, you can kind of see it here, for example. US petroleum reserves hit lowest level in decades ahead of winter months. Now, I'm not going to be judging why the government actually wants a higher price of oil. But I'm just mentioning the fact here. They definitely do want gas prices to go higher, regardless of what they are saying. I mean, you cannot really judge by their words, but their actions. And so you will see here that strategic petroleum reserve levels have reached their lowest levels in 4 decades, as we're actually entering a very, very high inflationary period when energy is actually super expensive already. For some reason, the strategic petroleum reserve actually has lower levels and the richest in 4 decades, in 40 years. And it doesn't make any sense other than the fact that they do want energy prices to soar in the upcoming winter. And as you'll see here, President Joe Biden has responded to rising gas prices by releasing 1 million barrels of oil per day from the strategic petroleum reserves, that is. And the strategic petroleum reserves is basically the last line of defense for a country's oil production and energy. That's actually about oil. And it's basically the emergency crude oil, as you'll see here. And though reserves were actually about 638 million barrels in January 2021, they have fallen to 461 million barrels as of now, as of today, a level not seen since 1985. That's about 4 decades, right? And so you would be potentially thinking that a government that wants to actually bring oil prices down would actually be buying more oil and increasing gas reserves and not reducing it. And you would be right. The only reason to reduce oil reserves is basically to bring the price of oil even higher. And so the scale of this release is unprecedented. As you'll see, the world has never seen a release of oil reserves at this rate, which of course is like 1 million per day for this length of time. And it seems to be continuing, actually. And this record release will provide a historic amount of supply to serve as a bridge until the end of the year when domestic production ramps up, is what they're saying. But again, it doesn't make any sense, of course. Now, where are these barrels heading to? To nations such as India, the Netherlands, and Italy, as well as China, as we know, with links to Hunter Biden. This has been discussed a lot, of course. Now, of course, oil prices have been soaring and will continue to soar, of course, following these kinds of news and these kinds of actions. It's inevitable, regardless of what is happening with Russia. I mean, that's basically irrelevant, frankly, and practically speaking. And as you'll see here, business leaders, including JP Morgan Chase Jamie Dimon, have called for the United States to increase oil production, which still hasn't happened. And he says we should focus on climate because that's the agenda. The problem with that is because of high oil and gas prices, the world is turning back on their coal plants. He remarked last week it is dirtier. And he says, why can't we get it through our thick skulls that if you want to solve climate, it's not against climate for America to boost more oil and gas. So you can kind of see here that he wants to keep talking about the agenda, basically, that is green energy, but he still doesn't want America to implode here and have insane issues because of this decrease in oil production, which will happen if this kind of policy continues. And again, this kind of seems to be what is going to be happening in the upcoming winter. I don't know about the midterms. We'll see what will happen since then, but that seems to be the policy right now. And so Warren Buffett doesn't really care what's happening in terms of politics. I'm pretty sure he understands what's the agenda behind all this, but he just follows basically the money. He follows the trends. And so he sees that we are looking at prices of oil increasing and probably increasing dramatically in the upcoming winter because it's part of the policies that the governments worldwide really actually aspire to. And so this is probably going to be happening, and Warren Buffett actually is looking to actually capitalize on that instead of giving any remarks or maybe criticizing the move. He just wants to capitalize on that, and it makes a ton of sense why he would be buying more oil here. And I believe he's also looking to get into Chevron as well, even more. And yeah, Berkshire also ended June with a 23.7 billion stake in a larger oil company, Chevron. And so as an investor myself, I'm looking at this and I'm looking to potentially maybe add some oil to my portfolio as well. Now, which kind of company? It may be up for some discussion. I will be potentially making some videos in the future just to talk about some of the big ones. I already own XOM, of course, Exxon, and I am potentially looking to add some more. I also own SLB, is another one that I own right now, but I think I may be looking to add a little bit more, following what I'm seeing from policies really and what the government really wants. And the way to actually pick the ones that I want to be buying is going to be a little bit multidimensional, but price to book ratio will play a pretty big role here with these kinds of companies. And of course, everything like the P's and everything. I kind of want to see them as cheap as possible. The amount of debt that they have, of course, because they're highly cyclical. But again, as we're looking to capitalize in this sort of like area, you may be seeing this kind of opportunity of adding some oil to your portfolio, because it does look like we are heading for some much higher prices in terms of oil. At least that's what policies seem to be dictating for the upcoming, I don't know, like year, maybe a couple of years, who knows. But thanks for watching this one. Tell me what you think about oil, Occidental Petroleum, and Warren Buffett. Remember to leave a comment below and let's discuss about it. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye.